Hey there, welcome back to the Jon Krawczynski Show. He is Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic. He does one of the most popular shows at TalkNorth.com. We love having him. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. What if your water was so amazing you literally bragged to strangers? With Connecticut, enjoy softer skin and hair, dishes and fixtures that shine like the sun, ice that sparkles like diamonds, and worry-free drinking water. All of this, plus 36 months, 0% financing. Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com. Financing based on credit approval. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Hey, this is Randy Shaver. Along with Kevin Gorg, we host the show Fantasy Huddle on Talk North. Each week, we're going to break down the matchups for the NFL season and try to give you the best chance to win your fantasy football games each and every week. Join us for Fantasy Huddle on Talk North.
We're also presented to you by Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. A couple notes on the network. We're adding Leah B. Olson as a Lynx analyst. She's going to be joining the Dawn Mitchell show. We'll also sometimes drop her comments into this show just because it's such a great basketball show and has such a great audience. Great to be working with Leah. You know, we've been kind of looking for the right way to present the Lynx. When I started the network, I was very lucky to have Cheryl Reeve on during her own show that, you know, once she became the Team USA coach, that kind of went by the wayside. Hated to lose her, but Leah's fantastic, and it'll be great to have her. Other thing I wanted to mention is that we should check out this time of year, check out the Randy Shaver, Kevin Gorg Fantasy Football Show at TalkNorth.com. It's a new show, and they both are in like 20 leagues. They're experts, but they're also very funny together. So I highly recommend that show. And you know the rest of the shows. We have a great lineup. All right, let's get to some Wolves news. Honestly, let's just deal with the sad story right away. Tell us about Naz Reid losing his sister and anything you know about that horrible story.
Yeah, just a tremendous loss for Naz and for his family, for the Timberwolves. Naz Reid's sister, Taraya, his older sister, a couple weeks ago now at her home in New Jersey, was shot and killed by one of her, a person that she had been dating. And I think that they had gone through a breakup, and then the guy came and shot her. Authorities found him not far from the scene, arrested him, and charged him with her murder. And just like an absolute shock to the system for everyone involved. Understandably, Naz was just completely heartbroken, crestfallen. The team, from what I understand, has really tried to rally around him and support him while also giving him space to grieve through this process. I mean, this is, now we are in a community, unfortunately, that has had quite a bit of gun violence and experience with that, recently. And so I think that Timberwolves fans have been reaching out on social media and trying to kind of send their support and their prayers and everything to Naz, who is one of, if not the most popular player on the team. And so I do think you'll see the community really rally around him. The good news that we have seen this week is that he made an appearance at the Gophers practice facility yesterday with Nico Medved. And that at least tells me that he is trying to get back to a little bit of normalcy, trying to find a little bit of a routine, and while he deals with the tremendous loss of it. And so, just all of our condolences and feelings and prayers go to Naz and his family, because his sister was a big part of his support system, and just, you don't wish this on anyone. And so to see him have to deal with this is just, completely heartbreaking thing for a very kind of good dude, sensitive, close family, all of those things. Just an awful, awful experience for Naz.
Yes. I've been doing this a long time. I've learned there's no graceful way to transition from real life tragedy to sports talk. I don't know how to do it. So I just offer my condolences. We all offer our condolences to Naz Reid, and I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else intelligent to say about it. Just thank you for updating us on that horrible story. Timberwolves haven't made some roster moves lately. What do they mean?
Yeah, just kind of expected stuff. We reported on it earlier in the summer as agreements were put in place with Bones Hyland and Johnny Juzang to come in to the roster. And the way that I see it shaping up right now, when you look at the two of them, Bones has a partially guaranteed deal, but I think for all intents and purposes, he's on the team. Like, they do need some sort of backup point guard, combo guard type of a situation. They looked at Malcolm Brogdon. They looked at Cam Payne. They looked at Landry Shamet. They looked at a bunch of other guys for that spot. Ultimately, they landed on Bones Hyland, I think, for a couple of reasons. One, he was here last year. There's some familiarity with him. Two, Tim Connolly drafted him in Denver, remains a big fan of Bones and his potential. Three, he comes in with a real clear spot in the pecking order. And I still do believe that one of the priorities going into training camp is to put Rob Dillingham in a position where he has to play. And, where there are minutes for him that no one is going to be eating into. That's not to say if Bones, doesn't play incredibly well in training camp and preseason, he can't earn his way onto the floor. But I do think that there is a decided effort to say, we're going to construct this roster in a way that Rob Dillingham has an opportunity to play. We spent the eighth overall pick on him last year. We traded a pick to get him. Let's give him an opportunity. And I do think that with, someone like Brogdon, someone like Cam Payne, someone like Shamet that is a little more experienced, maybe there would be a little bit more of a roadblock there, or at least kind of something to look at in terms of, maybe we play the veteran now and let the young kid learn into it. I think you just got to throw Rob Dillingham into the pool and see if he can swim. And so that's kind of the plan with Bones, and he's going to be on the roster barring some crazy circumstances going into this. With Juzang, he's coming in on a camp deal, non-guaranteed. And we see this a lot with players who sign deals right before camp and basically are just coming in as camp bodies to kind of, get run, make sure that there's enough players to kind of scrimmage and do all the things that they want to do, play in the preseason a lot. But I will say that I do think there is an outside chance that he makes the roster. Right now, essentially, there's 14 players with a 15th spot open. Luka Garza was in this position before where he kind of came in on a camp deal and you didn't think that maybe he had a spot, but then he ultimately ended up playing so well that the Wolves decided to keep him. And that worked out for Luka for a while now. And so Juzang, with his shooting, with his height, his length, I do think he's intriguing as a guy who could come in, and if he flashes, maybe he does earn that spot, or maybe he finds a way to Iowa or something like that. But it's not just a deal where he's going to come into camp, just get some run and then automatically depart. I think there is a chance, a small one, but a chance that he can kind of win his way onto this roster.
Interesting. Tell me about two things. Tell me about your live show at Head Flyers, and tell me about Lexus Wayzata in Maplewood.
Yeah, so we'll start with our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. And whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to Lexus of Wayzata or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today. And then I'll also remind everyone that we are going to be at Head Flyer Brewing on September 27th, Saturday. The window is right around 4 to 7 p.m. For a live show at Head Flyer. Dane Moore will be there with us to kind of kick off this Timberwolves season. Training camp starts on the Monday following. So it is right around the corner. So it's a perfect time to get everyone together and have, a great show at Head Flyer. And, we're working on another couple of special guests that we will announce if and when we secure those. But it's also going to be kind of this cool thing. Typically with our Head Flyer shows, we've come in, we do a show, and it's about an hour and a half, and that's it. But with this particular show, it's going to be a little bit more Wolves festy. There's going to be some kind of activities to do right on in the area at Head Flyer. It's going to be a little bit more longer of a window. So there's going to be a little bit more of a kind of mingling question and answer, hopefully, thing. We're going to have some drink specials. We're going to have great beer at Head Flyer. We're going to have some giveaways as well, as we always do. And so if Wolves fans are starting to get that itch, starting to get ready to come out and really start thinking about this season and talking about it, and maybe kind of turning your attention away from the Vikings a little bit, given how things are going there, and you want to look at the basketball side of things, come on out to Head Flyer, hang out with myself and with Dane, and maybe we'll see a couple other special guests come in, and we'll have great Wolves conversation, and we'll really kind of start amping things up for the season at Head Flyer Brewing in Northeast Minneapolis, 4 to 7 p.m., September 27th.
Does Dane have small feet?
He looks like a guy that has small feet. He's tall, but his feet might be a little small. Please tell me why you asked that.
Because he has very small shoes to fill. I usually coach the Jon Krawczynski Show live shows. I'll be in Dublin and London on the Vikings trip. So Dane's going to be a great Timberwolves centric replacement or improvement. So head out there. You'll have a blast. The shows are always great at Head Flyer. The crowd's always great. It's a really good group of people. I highly recommend going and go for the show or go for all 3 hours. You'll have a good time. And there are non-alcoholic drinks. There are other things you can drink there. So if you're not a beer fan, their beer's great. But if you want other things, they have those as well. All right, let's move on. What are you hearing about the Timberwolves informal workouts?
Yeah, I keep hearing and talking to people who are in the building there about how much activity there's been over the last couple of weeks and months leading into this camp. And, I know that there's always this kind of optimism surrounding teams coming into the season, and everyone says, yeah, we've had a great gym and all of this. But I will say that this feels unique to me in terms of the amount of people who have been in the gym working out, and from what is described to me, it sounds like they're getting after it pretty hard in these informal workouts. This is a team, I do believe, that is still stinging from a second straight 4-1 dismissal in the Western Conference Finals. They know that they have a lot more work to do, and essentially everyone on the roster, maybe outside of Rudy Gobert, who remains in France, has been at these workouts and is, they're getting up and down the court. They are competing. They're going one-on-one. They're doing a lot of stuff that shows a team that is kind of motivated to try and take that final step. And we're seeing everyone there: Julius Randle, Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Conley, Ant, Jaden, like all the guys are there, Shannon, everyone. And so a lot of times you can see, or you can feel, I would say, an urgency with teams that are ready to kind of make that step forward. It doesn't guarantee they're going to be great or that they're going to go to the finals or anything, but I do feel like everyone's been talking about the sense of urgency that they have now. And so to kind of just get those anecdotal reports from people, from coaches, executives, from some players that I've been able to connect with, they all have remarked that, hey, this feels a little bit different. We're getting after it a little bit more, and we're ready for the season to start. And so that's as good as you can hope for, kind of going into camp, is that you have a group together that knows that there's not big changes, there's not big free agents coming in, there's not a top 5 pick coming in to change their fortunes. They've got to do it on their own. And so they're locked in on that, it seems like.
I'm going to ask you about Ant's mentality going into the season. We're also going to talk a little Lynx here, and I have a question about A-Rod and Lori. First, I want to tell you about TSR injury law, 612 TSR time. You see the ads. You know the people by now. You know that Steve Terry and his people have a great relationship with Naz Reid. You know that they will, and here's what you need to know. If you're injured, they'll help you. 612 TSR time. If you're injured, call that number. They will help you. They won't charge you unless they win your case, and they win lots of cases. Thanks also to Royal Credit Union.
Royal Credit Union is your trusted advisor for all your business banking needs. Whether you're starting or growing a business, Royal offers a full suite of business account and lending solutions to meet the needs of your business now and into the future. Royal has business checking and savings accounts, business certificates and money markets, treasury management services, and business loans. Choose Royal Credit Union as your business's financial partner and get started today at rcu.org/royalbusiness. Insured by NCUA. Loans subject to credit approval. Equal credit opportunity.
And tell us about Princeton's Liquors.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. We've been telling you about it for years now. They have been with us for a while, and we love community companies that have been embedded in this community for a long time. And Princeton's Liquors has been in the liquor business for decades and decades. And they have real connections, not only to Maple Grove, to the area, but also to basketball. Bill Princeton was a former intern with the Timberwolves and Lynx. He wore the Crunch mascot costume. So he lives and dies with the Wolves, with basketball in the community, just like you. And not only does he have all that support, but he's got unbelievable selection of everything that you could want in the wine, spirits, beer kind of ilk, including THC seltzers and gummies. You go to Princeton's Liquors, you're going to find anything that you need there. Their specialties, craft beer and bourbon, but anything under the sun that you're looking for parties, for gatherings, just for kind of relaxing on the patio on this unseasonably warm weather that we're having, go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. Tell them the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you.
So what do you think Ant's mentality is? I mean, he's been an outstanding player for a while now. Despite his young age, he's been an outstanding player for a while now. He's been on Olympic teams. He's been praised to the high heavens by many great people in and around the league. Do you think he thinks he needs to win a title? Do you think he needs to do something more to be a top 5 player in the league? What are his? It's easy to have ambitions, but what's going on inside that head, if you think you know?
Yeah, I mean, I do think I have a pretty good feel for it. I do think that he has this way about him in terms of understanding that he's young and that there is still time to accomplish everything that he wants to accomplish. But also, I think he is tired of coming up short in big situations, for his team coming up short against Luka, against Shea, against players that he is being measured against. And so what you have heard about the way that Ant has approached this summer has been one of real focus on doing whatever it takes to make it harder to take him away in games. I mean, what he saw in the Western Conference Finals last year was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finding a way to remain incredibly impactful, even as the Wolves tried to gear up to stop him. And because Shai has such a magical mid-range game, because he gets to the free throw line, because he finds ways to finish at the rim efficiently, and he does all those things without even, having the three-point shot as a major weapon in his arsenal, it just makes him really difficult to cover. Luka has the same bag. Like he has versatility with where he can attack you and where he can hurt you. And Ant made an unbelievable leap in three-point shooting last season. But if you look at his mid-range game and his finishing at the rim, I think they were both short of where they need to be for a supreme scorer. And so for the Thunder, it was a little bit easier to make things hard on him because of the inefficiencies at other levels of his game. And so I think that there is a mentality going into these summer workouts of trying to plug those holes. And they're not really holes. He's still really dynamic. But I think just like sharpening them and making them more reliable. And so they are perfect counters for if they come up on him at the 3-point line, now that he is such a prolific 3-point shooter, that he can get past them. And it's either a pull-up jumper, it's a post-up, it's going to the rim. And once he gets there, finishing and not missing. And so I just think that, his focus has been in what does he have to do to make that final step. He is all NBA, second team all NBA. What does he have to do to get to first team? And I think it is just being a player that is just undeniable and hard to pull away. And so when you look at how does that translate? Well, it's translated into him being at the gym in Minnesota quite a bit. And really not only just working on his individual game, but also working with his teammates and leading that way. And so, I've heard that he's gone one-on-one with Berenger a bunch to help him kind of understand what it's going to be like guarding people on the perimeter. And then he's also been talking to his teammates about Berenger and kind of really being impressed with what he's seen from the rookie so far. And he is trying to rally everyone together because they're just going to have to have even better chemistry than they did last year. We saw, we said, sir, there is no Kevin Durant coming in. There is no major change that is going to change the face of this roster from a talent standpoint. It's all the improvement. Everything has to come from within, and Ant is trying to get these guys to bring the most out of themselves. And that's, I think, a powerful message to be sending right now. Is like, it's urgency for him individually, but it's also urgency for the team as well to come together and make things happen.
Let's talk about another powerhouse next, but first tell us about True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you are seeing that I have no glasses. I haven't had them for more than a year now. I was at the Vikings game just on Sunday night and running into a few people I hadn't seen in a while. And, they said, hey, you're not wearing your glasses. And so it's all thanks to True Vision. I mean, it is so much easier. Life is so much easier without having the hassles of contacts and eyeglasses. Go to truevision.com, set up your consultation. When you go in, I just was so impressed by what the thoroughness and the welcoming environment of True Vision. You go in there, you're a little nervous, you're wondering, you're trying to figure things out. They take you through everything. They are the nicest people ever. They will make you comfortable. They will help you get to whatever vision correction method is right for you. I chose LASIK from True Vision, and I would do it 1,000 times out of 1,000. So go to truevision.com, set up your consultation, tell them the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you, and then get yourself down to True Vision in Bloomington, see Dr. Chu, see all the wonderful people who work there, and get going with your life here. You'll be kicking yourself after it's over that you didn't do it 10 years earlier, just like I did.
Thanks also to Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line.
sglambchops.com is the place to go. Use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off anything you get at Lamb Chops. They have all the best casual wear you could ask for: pants, shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, hats. Everything that you need is at Lamb Chops. You can go there, you put in that JONK20 code and get your stuff, and you can wear that out on a night in the North Loop, feeling very stylish and comfortable out on the town, or you can be lounging around at home, watching TV, watching these football games and the soon-to-be basketball games, watching the Lynx play in the playoffs and feel good in any mode. And what I like, again, about Lamb Chops is Jordan, Craig, they're in here, they're in the community, they're sitting courtside at Wolves and Lynx games. They are cheering, living and dying with the success of these teams, just like you are. So support the places in the community that support us. Go to sglamchops.com, promo code JONK20 for 20% off anything you get at Lamb Chops.
We're talking here on Wednesday. By the time you see this or hear this, yes, we are doing YouTube as well as audio. The audio can be found at talknorth.com or on your favorite podcast app. We also finished this show with our Twitter question, sponsored by Shepherd Goods Lamb Chops clothing line. The Lynx are playing on Wednesday night. We don't know the result of that game yet, obviously. I'm guessing they're going to win. And the Aces lost on Tuesday night, breaking their winning streak. The Indiana is giving their opponent trouble. Phoenix, there's such a clear path toward a championship here. It's not an easy path, but there's such a clear path toward a championship here. The Lynx are the best team in the league. The Aces just kind of gave up their cloak of invincibility. Liberty are not having a great season. I don't think the Lynx are all that talented, frankly, but they are clearly the best team. What are your expectations going forward here?
Yeah, I do think that they should feel like the front runners. They should feel like this is their trophy to lose. Just because, like you said, we've talked about it a lot. Obviously, Nafisa Collier, MVP candidate, and I think should win the MVP. But then you have Kayla McBride, who has had an all-star year, and so they do have talented players. But yeah, it's just not the cupboard full of Hall of Famers that we have seen the Lynx win titles with before. That said, when you look at their metrics, their net rating, their defensive rating, every number, in addition to the 34 wins that they had in the regular season, tells you that they are head and shoulders above every other team. Now, I don't expect them to sweep through the playoffs and just, cruise to a championship, but it does remind me, Jim, a little bit of Oklahoma City last year. And, the Lynx kind of took their foot off the gas toward the end of the regular season to rest players. They dropped a couple of games and the Aces just kept on winning. And so then there was this conversation that started like, are the Lynx really that team? Are they the team ready to go? And I think, there was a lot of questions around the Thunder as well going into the playoffs about experience, about their ability to do this, like all those things. But in the end, when they won the championship, it was kind of like, well, yeah, obviously, like their numbers were just outlandishly great last season compared to everyone else. And so it shouldn't be a surprise, even though most of those guys, if not all of them, I think, were winning their first championship. And so, if the Lynx do it, it will be, the first title for Collier, for McBride, for all these women. And it'll be the first time that they've gone all the way through and done it. But at the end of it, I think we would look back and say, yeah, they were the best team the whole year, wire to wire. Like it was clear cut. And so the opportunity is there. And yeah, I do think that at this point, if they don't make the finals, certainly that's a failure. But if they don't win the championship, that would be a disappointment, not a failure. I just don't think you can ever say it's a failure just to get to the finals and lose. But they need to be carrying themselves, as I know they are, and treated as the favorites here, and I think the prohibitive favorites.
Agreed. All right, let's get to our Twitter question.
Yeah, let me find it here. This one comes from JB Rose, longtime kind of listener and participator. As someone who has covered the team for several years, 22 is several. What are you most looking forward to with Mark and Alex in full ownership now? I will say this to start. As we get ready to fully turn the page, people know this. I always had a great relationship with Glenn Taylor. I have a lot of respect for what he was able to do, especially in terms of saving this team from leaving in the first place. What he's done with the Lynx is unassailable. And so I think as he transitions out of here, I am grateful that he was there to save basketball in Minnesota when it was in a very precarious place. It would not be here without him. And so it will be a different feeling now that he is given way, that he's been bought out, and that this is Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez's show. One side note, he will be courtside often, both with the Lynx and the Wolves going forward as part of the agreement with Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez. He and Becky are keeping those seats, I think, for 10 years. And so they'll be regulars there, and they'll just more now be fans and not owners. So that is ending. It's not ending the way that he wanted to. It's probably ending in an ugly fashion. But when you look back at him saving this team from leaving, I think that, I'll always have respect for that. But with Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez, I do think that there's just going to be a different level of enthusiasm and energy with a new blood that is coming in. They have fought hard to get this team. It was a really bitter and difficult fight for them. And they prevailed over Glenn Taylor in essentially a court setting, which not a lot of people have done before. And so they come in with a lot of ideas and energy around kind of the fan experience, around kind of improving things at Target Center until they can get a new arena. They hired Matthew Caldwell as their CEO, but they have done things to try and kind of project the need for stability on the basketball side, both with the Lynx and the Wolves. So I don't think you'll see major changes there, but I do think you'll just feel a different energy. They're going to try new things. Last week we had Jordy Leeser from Jump on in terms of what they can do with ticketing. And I think they're going to continue to look at things like that will change the fan experience in a tangible way, that will try to maximize revenues at Target Center, which has been a challenge over the last several years. And you're just going to have new owner energy with this group. And that will be palpable. Like, you will see Alex and Mark courtside. You will see them engaging with fans. You will see them really trying to be now kind of the front facing members of this ownership group, and their ability now to message and take charge, where it was during that period of fighting with Glenn Taylor, they had to kind of stay quiet and they had to kind of just be in the background. Now this is their show. And so we will see even more of them. We will hear even more from them. And I think in general, that kind of energy, enthusiasm is good, usually good for a franchise. It's been set up for them to really have success, because a lot of new owners will come in and try and make big changes to the basketball sides of things, and they can make missteps. But these two have been in the trenches now for a while, and I think they have a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't on the basketball side. And so now they want to translate that to the business side as well. And you're just going to, I think you're going to feel that buzz and that energy from them early. And that's going to be, I think, fun to watch and see how they grow into the job. They'll make mistakes. We'll see how that goes as well. But they're going to do everything with a lot of energy, and that's going to be a different approach from what we have seen in the past.
You can also hear and see Jon Krawczynski on the Viking Update Show. We have a bunch of Vikings content, which is great for this time of the year. Check it all out. We do appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.